Hi, everybody. This is Tom with Culture Chap. So it's December, and I'm battling the winter sun, which is not doing very well for my videos. It's bleeding me out. The next video is about good lighting. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was I get a lot of things in my inbox about what's happening in different parts of the world. And the thing I'm seeing is that in the States, theaters seem to be doing the safe thing, which is the same old play. There's so many Christmas carols happening everywhere. It's kind of staggering. And so many It's a Wonderful Life and on and on and on. This is sort of happening in the Americas. The England and Ireland and France and Italy, they're doing things that are kind of different. And they're mostly going for comedies. In England and Scotland, they're doing a lot of pantos, as they've always done. Now, if you're not familiar, a panto is a comedy skit for a comedy play, a comedy musical for Christmas that is always slightly different every year. Now, I'm not saying people in the States should do pantos because it comes with a lot of history in their area. They've been doing them for years. A lot of it has to do with English music hall and irreverent comedy and things they already know that are working for their audiences. But I like the idea that it's a familiar story like Cinderella, Peter Pan, and they're twisting it. They're putting in other characters from other stories and other songs from other musicals from wherever. It's a good idea, and they sell even in the worst economies because people want comedy there for their Christmas, which I think is fantastic. And I think that we're not doing that enough in the United States, for instance. Now, what I'm going to suggest is that you look at some pantos online and see how they would work for you. And, watch it twice. Watch it once just to enjoy it, and watch it a second time to analyze it and go, how would that work for us? Okay? And perhaps as you go into the new year and you look at your numbers and you're like, he was right. People aren't willing to come to see the same thing year after year. And the fact that we advertised it, that it's the same traditional thing that you love year after year, and we've tried to make it exactly the same as the year before, that's a problem right now. So as you go into the new year, decide you're going to do something new. Now, there's a lot of ways to go about this, but I'm going to bring up the TV show Blackadder. So if you're not familiar, Blackadder is an English TV show. Every season, every series, season and series mean the same thing, is in a different time. So it's World War II one time, it's Elizabethan another time, and Blackadder Christmas Carol is the Christmas Carol, but the twist is Ebenezer Scrooge is good, and everyone takes advantage of him, and this experience on this one night turns him bad. Because in all the series, Blackadder is a meanie. He's bad. He's a baddie, and that's the humor. So this is what made him bad. It's very funny. Now, I don't think you can get a hold of the Blackadder Christmas Carol script, and you shouldn't because that's a TV show. It is under copyright to another country. Plus, it is for their country. It is for their humor. But the idea is stellar. It's perfect. So you do Christmas Carol year after year. Why don't you do a new Christmas Carol that is devised by your company, your comedians, your playwrights, your local public? Have a brainstorming session and have everybody come and give their ideas for this. And we're going to pool all the ideas and see what we come up with. Now, you know and I know that you're not going to take all those ideas. But everybody that comes to those brainstorming sessions, which could get large and really out of control, this is to promote you, okay? We listen to our public. We listen to our patrons. We listen to our subscribers, whatever you want to say. Those people will come to the finished product, okay? And advertise it as though they know what it is. It's a comedic twist on Christmas Carol. It's a comedic twist on It's a Wonderful Life. It's a comedic twist on The Nutcracker. Whatever you think. And make it slightly different year after year so they enjoyed the first time you did it and they're going to go back the next time you do it to see what the changes are, and that becomes their tradition. That's how Panto works in the UK. Now, often they're radically different stories year after year, You may choose to do the same story, maybe it's Christmas Carol, slightly different year after year, just to really get them used to what you're doing, okay? Now, Panto in England is so popular that you could do Cinderella one year and Peter Pan the next year and combine it with something else the next year, and they'll still come because this has been happening for decades, probably longer than just decades. So it works for them. People want irreverent things during downtimes, during economic downturns. If you look to the past, you can see that during the Depression, during wars, comedies sold. They sold really well in movies, they sold really well on stage. And when you're creating it yourself from sort of base source material, where you're twisting every line, perhaps even the names. I know in Blackadder he calls him not Bob Cratchit, but Bob Scratchit. That's cute. That's very cute. You can twist everything to be more comedic. You already have the source material that you know really well, okay? So it's not going to be as much work to twist it all to be funny. And I know you have playwrights that are itching to do things in your area. And I know you have comedic actors, older actors, regular actors, the public, who have funny ideas. Even if they give you one or two lines or an idea, that you just record those sessions of those brainstorming and you come to it later, find your your best person to analyze this to see what's best, because it can be overwhelming. You're going to come up with something great. I'm so excited. I'm tripping over my words and my pronunciation. But it's a good idea. Now, I want you to tailor it to your area, what you think is funny, okay? Now, what I mean is, I myself grew up in San Francisco, and I had one of my mother's girlfriends. Now, my family is Irish and English, and we're kind of basically just off the boat. I'm only second generation in this country. So I don't know how it happened, but among my regular grandmother, I also got a Jewish grandmother from Long Island. That's New York, in case you didn't know. But she had a kind of accent, you know, the kind of accent when she's like, Long Island, Long Island. She was hilarious, and she would tell us what she called the Jewish version of Christmas stories every year. And she would say how she would improve certain movies. Her favorite thing was to say, in It's a Wonderful Life, what if the angel came to George Bailey and he was Jewish from Long Island and he was a complainer? And, George Bailey's like, I'm so depressed, I don't want to live. And the angel says, you think you're depressed? I got a crick in my back. No angel can stop it. Just hilarious things. I can't go into it, but they were hilarious to us because we knew a lot of people like her in our area. So that Jewish sense of East Coast humor was always really hilarious to those of us on the West Coast in San Francisco, and she would beef it up. Maybe in your area, that would work. Maybe in your area or in Los Angeles or Texas or something, and the angel is Hispanic, and he talks like Charo or Sofia Vergara, if that works for you. And he makes those jokes. Half of it's in Spanglish. That works for a lot of areas down there because they understand people who speak Spanglish every day. And on and on and on. Maybe you're in Minnesota or Seattle and your angel is Canadian, okay, and has an accent. The accent isn't the whole joke. It's the words they use. Twist it for your area to see what fits for you, okay? And be very open to, I thought that was funny. It's upsetting people. We're not going to do that. Be very careful. Only go for the jokes that are going to hit the most humor for everybody. And give it test drives. Invite people to your readings. Have readings for this. And have test drives and have talkbacks to say, I don't want to offend anyone. We just want them to laugh. Or, did you understand that line? Did you understand the meaning behind this? Did you understand our twist? Is it too far out from the original story? Get real basic and say, we only want what works. And then advertise it like crazy. A comedic twist on this classic story. A comedic twist on this. And start adding in things that they don't expect. Maybe you're doing A Christmas Carol and you add in music from Auntie Mame, where they sing, "We Need a Little Christmas Right Now." Hilarious. Hilarious. Maybe it just depends whatever you want to do. Add in all kinds of music. Maybe you add in songs from Xanadu. That's unusual. There's all kinds of things you can do to make your clientele happier during the season. And don't just take my word for it, start to look at other companies. For years, it's kind of fallen out of favor, but the Santaland Diaries are funny, and they've done well all around the States. People loved it, which is basically just if you don't know it, look it up. It's just one man dressed as an elf talking about his experiences working as an elf in a large department store in Manhattan. They're hilarious. The writer is hilarious. The performances can be hilarious. People loved it. That might be an inexpensive show for you to do if you think it works for your area. Investigate that one as well. There's so many things you can do to twist anything. And people will pay to see this. They'll pay for happy stuff. They're going to see enough serious stuff in the States. The Nutcracker. They're going to watch It's a Wonderful Life, which is sweet and uplifting, but we've seen it so many times. Maybe you want to take The Bishop's Wife, that movie, and twist that a little bit. That's a really good story. I know it works as a movie because of the actors. Okay? It may not work as a script for you for a theater. You never know. Put unusual things in it. If you are working with an opera company, that's great. Maybe you could have opera singers come on and do numbers in the middle of your comedy as well. Wonderful. Twist it however you see fit with the surprises you think will work. This is a good idea. Other countries are doing it. You can do it too. All right. Thanks, and I will talk to you again, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Please, I'm getting a lot of views. That's great. But please like and subscribe because that's what drives the channel. That's what brings the advertisers. And that's what makes the cash, frankly, to make these things possible. So please subscribe. It's just a button below, and it helps out enormously. All right. I'll talk to you again. Thanks.